difficult stretch of the season in terms of congested schedule. 3 games in 9 days starting tonight. Here's Leggett coming forward. Velasco, and he's got the fourth tonight for FC Dallas. Velasco, golazo. He lets one rip from outside the box. And FC Dallas, 57 minutes into the game, they've just added to their lead, as you were speculating about a moment ago.
Sometimes he loses the ball when you want him to, dribble by somebody. Sometimes he doesn't make the decision you want him to make. But he's a good young player with a lot of talent. He's a project. You keep him on the field. And why? Because of moments like that. I mean, to hit this ball from that range, it's got some movement.
It's got some movement. That's right. Congratulations there to Alan Velasco. Really great hit on that goal. And welcome, everybody. Welcome to Big D After Dark, to the show here. We're gonna get a little salty tonight. We're gonna celebrate a big victory at home for FC Dallas against San Jose. Also, North Texas victory against at home against Real Monarch. So some good soccer in North Texas this past weekend to celebrate, and we are here after dark to talk about it. We want your comments, your questions to come in about FC Dallas, about North Texas, about the league, and have some fun together this evening. Of course, I'm Nathan Hill. You can follow me at Nathan J. Hill. There in the middle is our buddy Ismael Belcora at Belcora Ishma. And finally, there in his Cowboys jersey, that's right, Jose Carmona, El Chico Carmona.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, we got some good stuff to talk about. It was a very good weekend for FC Dallas fans. After the 1 point in the away week up in the Pacific Northwest, FC Dallas got some home cooking, and of course have a tough week ahead. So there's a lot to get to. But let's just start with our reactions to this 4-1 beat down against San Jose. A real early goal from Jesus, and Alan Velasco came to play in this one. Sebastian Leggett had 2 assists. Team was maybe a little unlikely not to have another 1 or 2 to toss in, but the defense looked fine, other than a really special goal from Abobasi. It's not much to complain about defensively with this squad. FC Dallas came to play, took care of business against San Jose. Let's just do your comments, your reactions from the game. Ismael, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, it was really awesome to see Leggett in action after in his first real proper game. I think the game against Portland, I think it was really because of injuries and just the lack of depth on that day that they really needed to throw him in there. But here, it's clear why they brought him in. He's a really high a really high midfielder. He pushes up onto the field in the attack. His run for Farfan's goal is something that we haven't seen any of the midfielders do, except for maybe Paxton, but that's really not where he's at. He's best. So it's really awesome to see another midfield. I thought Siki again was really, really good. Maybe one of his more controlled games where he made the least amount of mistakes, which is something that you wanted to see him improve on throughout the season. And in general, the attack, they punished San Jose. And we haven't really seen the attack punish other teams when they really need to be punished, especially in the last couple of months. It was great to see Jesus back on the score sheet with multiple goals, because we haven't seen that in a hot minute. And it was great to see Velasco really interact with other players on the field and show why he earned that $7 million transfer.
Jose, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I have to agree with everything that Ismael said. And I want to point out that Leggett's arrival, it early on is paying off for the attacking players. In that now you've got a guy who, like you said, is making runs that the other midfielders didn't do, and he's a known commodity in MLS, and they have to respect him. They have to be aware of him, and that frees up other players around him. That frees up Farfan. That frees up uh, Velasco. I mean, it has to be a weight off the shoulders of the younger players to have someone like Leggett there. It basically you know taking the spotlight away from them, and that's a good thing for a young team, especially when you got someone like that who's used to that kind of pressure, which is something that I think our younger players are still getting used to. So, I mean, like you said, so happy to see them punish a team, and honestly, a team that they should be able to punish. Our biggest complaint with FC Dallas is that they normally play down to the level of their opponents or up to the level of their opponents. But in reality, we're tired of that. We want to see them play teams that they're supposed to beat and go in there and play like they are the better team, and that's exactly what we saw. And I think it makes everybody a little bit happy to see the team actually appear to be running on all cylinders, especially at home. And most importantly, because of the early goals, they got to rest some key personnel for the midweek game.
Yeah, really important to be able to bring Jose Martinez off just to keep his legs fresh. He's been dealing with, some issues and things, and give Paxton a little bit of a break, have him come in off the bench. It's nice, just a nice situation to have, and see a guy like Marco Farfan get his first MLS goal with FC Dallas. He hasn't been as prolific as Ryan Hollingshead was certainly in his career, but it's just fun to see a guy like that who's put in a lot of work continue to put the pieces together and becoming a threat. Getting something going like that.
And all on the night first, it was also the Jets' first ever dual assist match in this MLS career, 8-year career, I think.
So good, just good stuff. We were on the fence a little bit about Sebastian, what he would bring to the squad, and whether it'd be a big change. But maybe the midfield didn't need a big change; just needed some depth, needed some fresh legs, needed some veteran leadership, and a guy who knows how to use space. Which I think Brandon and even Paxton, to agree, are still figuring out. Still learning, still adjusting, and Edwin as well. But so it's nice to see one player making a significant impact, kind of helping the team find space against San Jose, one of the leakier defensive teams in the league. So we'll see how it builds, but it also helps them build forward. On what's unfolding, kind of come in, and for Jesus to get a brace, kind of stay in that Golden Boot hunt is really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. Just feel so excited for the guy. Putting the World Cup doubters, keeping him quiet. That's right. Yeah, I mean, we'll jump over here to. Ben says, March of the playoffs started, and certainly it was a big key thing. If we talked about it last week, if FC Dallas had given up a draw at home, it would have been a little bit tough to take, and so they took care of business. They did what they needed to do, and that's good stuff. I mean, we want to see them continue to find those points and build that separation. Let's go ahead and listen to Nico's comments post game from the match.
I think the team was performing overall well these past weeks, but we, in the last two games against Seattle and Portland, we couldn't get a win, and I think we had the mentality from the initial whistle to go for the game, and you could see in the second minute we scored the first goal, and we keep pressing and keep trying to exploit the weaknesses of San Jose, and I think we realized really well that is something that we talk about, the transitions moments that were important, and even that we play at home, we don't have to feel bad about to regain shape quickly and make them lose the ball and transition to attack.
So the question is, I guess we're watching the evolution of Nico Ball, right? Of kind of the both pragmatism of a coach who says, I've got these players. I haven't had the chance to, bring in all the guys that I want and implement necessarily the style that I want, but I've got to use what I have. And so what works also is what works. And so if that means, we're going to possess the ball, but we're also not going to be afraid to give it up and win the ball back and create those transition moments. Not exactly this, the possession first approach maybe that Lucci preached. But for a team that's building and is getting results, does it matter, right? Does it matter?
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting because he's, of course, not as possession obsessed as Lucci was, but he is focused on controlling the pitch, controlling the play, making sure that FC Dallas is able to control all aspects of the field. And what's really interesting is in this game, he threw that all away because he saw, especially after the first goal, how desperate San Jose became and how hard they were pushing up. So I do think Nico's preferred system is that of pitch control, where they have like 59% possession and keep games tight, keep games controlled. I think that's where he finds himself more comfortable. But what we saw in the summer is when you have a defense that's having injuries, or in a midfield that's having injuries, and when players start to lose form, especially in the attack, that kind of pitch control doesn't yield the results that you want. And I think it's a testament to Nico, even in his first year of coaching here in MLS, that he recognized that right now is crunch time. It's not about implementing the system that he wants. It's about getting results. I think we all know that the tagline of this team is "it's a process," right? So, in the preferred future is that Nico's style of play gets us results week in and week out. But right now, I don't think the personnel, especially in the defense, exists, and that means that right now you can't do full pitch control and just rely on Jesus and Areola and Velasco scoring every single game because those are young players and Areola himself is also streaky. So I think it's just really refreshing to see Nico be able to switch it up because I don't think we've really seen that this season. All of our wins have been mostly pitch control, except a couple on the road. It here at home that it was really I don't think it's happened yet, and that was really good by Nico to recognize that San Jose was pushing super hard by like the 10th minute and just to take advantage of that.
And I also want to point out that it makes his job easier when players are performing, when the players that he's got out there are actually doing what he's asking them to do. I mean, Alan Velasco had probably his most complete match of the entire season so far. Yeah. And this is the time where we want to start seeing that. His passing percentage was almost at 80%, and he's been a notoriously bad passer this season. But to see him basically, I mean, high passing rate. I think he had the second most touches on the team. I think Emma was number one at 56, and then Velasco at 53 touches. That's great. I mean, that's what you want to see. You want to see that your prized edition start living up to some of those lofty expectations. And I'm sure consistency is still going to be a thing. I'm sure he's going to have games like this and games where he's completely opposite of that. But you want to see those signs. You want to see games where he shows up and shows you what he's capable of. And that's, I'm just saying, when everyone's performing and everything's clicking the way it's supposed to, then it makes it a lot easier on Nico. And you gotta love that this team, after being on a slump, seems to be in a bit of a run. And we were talking about how if with the playoffs right around the corner, they need to get results at home, and that's what they're doing right now. And they need to bring it home against Philadelphia Union this Wednesday.
Yeah, the West is a bloodbath. I mean, there's just a lot of teams not super far from each other. There's a lot of scenarios over the next few weeks, depending on the results and what teams bring to the field. So, FC Dallas is just going to have to claw their way to those points.
And to that point, I mean, we're talking about how FC Dallas has a bit of a cushion. It's an illusion because a lot of the teams behind them chasing them, have a game or two in hand. So like you said, it is really close. Any of those teams get results, like Nashville just got a result, and all of a sudden, boom, they're one
Nashville
point
just
behind us.
lost.
Was it Nashville that I thought?
No, Minnesota.
Oh, it's Minnesota.
Salt Lake.
Sorry. I know Nashville was playing too. You're right. Minnesota is the one that gained ground on FC Dallas, and I think they still have a game in hand. They're a point behind.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, a lot of the teams behind FC Dallas are like that. So this game against Philadelphia Union at home, you got to get the 3 points. They got to find, and mind you, not an easy task. Philadelphia Union has lost 3 games all season.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tough ask. But if they want to make us FCD fans, rest a little easier, they got to get that result. They got to get the home results. I can stomach a loss or having to settle for a draw on the road, but it's really hard to swallow that at home.
Mm-hmm. And let's see, it's in 2 nights. So yeah, Wednesday night is when Dallas plays Philly. It's a quick turnaround, so it's glad to see some guys get some minutes to rest those legs in this match. I mean, just what's our confidence level? Are we going to match up well against Philadelphia, Ismael?
I think it will be a very interesting match because Philadelphia, for the longest time, has played in a 4-4-2 diamond. And because of that, and having mostly only wingbacks pushing up, then the midfield is able to control the games most of the time because of how centralized the players are. I think one of the most difficult parts of this game will be about how the midfield trio for FC Dallas is able to compete against that, because these 4 players are often very fluid. You will sometimes see their D mid Flack push up into the attack because of just how the play is moving around. And Philadelphia are obviously very successful at this. They are 48 points right now, top of the East, and they wholeheartedly deserve it. Now, one of the things I think is interesting is that FC Cincinnati just destroyed them a week ago, and they basically gave the blueprint about how to beat Cincy, which was to stifle the midfield and just do very quick turnaround attacks. It's not about counterattacking; it's about stifling the midfield and then doing very quick presses and just going forward and taking those chances, which you can do when you have a Brandon Vasquez. So I think this game is all about how the midfields pair up. I think this is a kind of game where you really do need Paxton, and you need him at full Paxton, where he just dominates those kinds of games. And then in this game, a player like Leggett will also be really important, where if you win the ball in the 50-yard line, like in the middle line, you just have Leggett just making a quick run and then creating open space for other players. That's how you beat Philadelphia Union and get through their defense, which is the best defense right now in the league.
And mind you, Philadelphia, they've only allowed, like you said, best defense in the league, only allowed 19 goals all season. This is a team that can replicate some of the defensive performances that teams like Vancouver and stuff have been able to do against Dallas. So this will be a huge test for FCD because Philadelphia will be sound defensively through the entire match, and FC Dallas is going to have to, like you said, like Ismael said, is going to need Velasco. It's going to need those Paxton. It's going to need someone to unlock that defense I don't think goals will be. You're not going to see 4 goals apiece from either team. Uh, it's going to be whoever gets that goal and forces the other team to basically have to open up. That's how this game is going to go, and it could be a very tense match for most of the match unless somebody gets an early goal.
Yeah,
MLSsoccer.com
and I
says
think yeah, yeah.
that
I think one of
Philly
the
have
more
just
of the
one
other
point in
sorry,
seven.
sorry.
Philly has just 1 point in 7 MLS matches at Dallas, just 1 draw, and 6 losses. So interesting little nugget.
Go ahead,
One of the
Ishmael.
other things about Philadelphia is that their attack, while very good, is extremely streaky. They have had in the last 7 games a 7-0, a 6-0, a 4-1 against teams in the East and Houston that are very bad defensively. Most of the time, when they play against defenses that are more sound, they have issues in the attack. It's not that they can't score. It's that they aren't able to kill teams when they're supposed to. And I think it showed during the middle of the year, like just like us, they were having a small summer slump where they weren't able to get a lot of points on the board. Right now, they're back in form, just like us. So again, it's actually kind of interesting how this game is lining up because both attacks are streaky. Both midfields need to command the game for the team to win, and Philadelphia's defense is much better than ours. So that's the one aspect where I think they have us beat. But this game is definitely winnable, and I think it's all about exploiting the weaknesses that Philadelphia has shown, and teams have been good at that. Cincinnati was good at that. Uh, what other team? Chicago, not this week, but a couple of weeks ago, was able to beat them by again stifling them in the midfield. So again, I think it'll really be on the midfield three to have like career performances to get to beat Philadelphia.
So would you be okay if it's just a point?
Well, no,
Um,
no. We need 3 points. We need 3 points. We need to. FC Dallas. We're down the home stretch, and we got a pack of wolves, you know, behind us chasing us. Uh, this is not the time to stumble. They need to get 3 points against Philadelphia. Philadelphia, yes, they won 4-1, but they actually didn't rest their players like FC Dallas did. They kept a lot of their players out there longer than FC Dallas did against San Jose, and and uh, and they have to travel. Of course, they got to fly to FC Dallas, so it's gonna be a jet lag. So no, you have the advantage. Uh, Philadelphia is gonna have to stick to their base defense, their base attack. They're not gonna have any time to put in any new wrinkles. Uh, so there's opportunity here for FC Dallas to catch them, and I don't care how they do it. I'm happy with a 1-0. I'm happy if they force an own goal. I don't care how they do it. They got to find a way to get 3 points because after this, as tough as this game is, it's only going to get tougher.
yeah. Well, it's interesting because we have 8 games left. This is the last Eastern Conference team that we play. The last 7 are Western Conference. And those games are all 6 pointers because all of these teams,
Exactly.
including Kansas City and San Jose, and yeah, both of those teams are technically not eliminated. Technically. And even though they most likely won't make the playoffs, they can make a major dent in the playoff race. If we win this game, we're at 42 points. And that means to get to that 48-point mark, which is the sweet spot, you only need 6 points from 7 games. That puts FC Dallas in such a good position that if we don't get to 48 points, then it's inexcusable. So a win here against Philadelphia, even though this is not a 6 pointer, would do so much for playoffs hopes because the teams that we're going to be playing are all at the playoff line. And that's going to just be a bloodbath in every single game. So to just be in a comfortable position would do a lot to alleviate the stress that this home stretch is going to create.
And mind you, like Ishmael was saying, is let's say they somehow manage to get 3 points against the Union, and they would need 6 points to get to 48. FC Dallas has 3 home games left after the Philadelphia Union, so those 6 points are achievable. Mind you, though, two of those home games are once against LAFC and the other one's against RSL, which are no gimmies. But if you say, hey, FC Dallas needs to get 6 points, they could get those at home, regardless of what they do on the road. So, yes, this is a very getting 3 points against the Union puts FC Dallas in a really good place. Failing to get those 3 points, settling for a draw. Let's just say they settle for a draw. Makes it a little tougher. Makes it a grind. So I think, like I said, I agree with Ishmael. They gotta get the three, and then, like I said, they got 3 home games. 6 points from just the home games is very doable. If they can get a point here or there on the road, that's even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the only way I would settle for a draw is if they give up 2 stupid goals or something. They just get kind of ambushed a little bit, and they claw their way back to make it a game. And you give them some credit for that against a tough team like Philly. But yeah, it's at home. Got to get the 3 points. We dropped already 3 points at home too often. A few of those games, if we'd just been able to keep that 1-0 win, the team would be even looking better in the standings. But this is not a time to drop points if you can help it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And Philly may not be feeling the pressure as much. They may see this as one they can rest some guys, rotate some guys, and hopefully they do. And FC Dallas takes advantage. So. Well, let's shift over. So it's going to be a big week for FC Dallas with that, and we'll shift over now to North Texas. North Texas also continued to sort of get back its momentum with a 4-0 victory at home against Real Monarchs. Just a good masterclass of North Texas soccer that we love to watch and love to enjoy. But some other news for North Texas this week that I think we'll just spend a few minutes talking about here. First off, of course, and I downloaded the picture, I think, somewhere in my... North Texas made a new signing on loan, Carl Sante, a Haitian national player from New Mexico United. So excited about this, kind of very much a North Texas kind of signing. To build off the team, and I guess that just with a purchase option at the end of the loan. So, looks like North Texas is just going to get a chance to get a look at this athlete, this player, and see if he can become a component next year and someone to develop for the future for FC Dallas and for the franchise as a whole. But I guess it does speak to that maybe Coach Cobb wants to see a little more from the midfield. We'll see a little more competition and options maybe, and this guy can bring a little bit of quality and class in that way. So, Jose, what are your thoughts?
I've been saying it on Twitter and whatnot that I think this is an excellent addition for the team. North Texas, it's not that their midfield is weak by any sense. I mean, it's just that they don't have any true defensive midfielders, which is what this player is. And you're going to need a true defensive midfielder with the playoffs right around the corner. And North Texas basically in the fourth spot and looking to hang in there, looking to maybe try to claw themselves up the standings or keep the teams chasing them at bay. So I think it's the first of several moves that they'll make. I don't think they're done. And he's the player, a player that's young, 19 years old, the kind of player that you expect North Texas to bring in, and also he's more of a known commodity than some of the players they usually loan in because he's played in the USL championship with New Mexico, so not a complete mystery. Even though he hasn't really gotten many minutes, my point is that they've actually were able to see him, or at least go to see in trainings and whatnot, so they have a good idea of what they're bringing in, as opposed to someone that some agent says, "Hey, give this kid a chance." So I think it's a good addition, and like I said, I expect them to make several more moves just to solidify the roster. Not necessarily a must-start player, but I think it's a player that could come in and help them uh, in when they're trying to lock down a game.
Yeah, I think I was mentioning this earlier for the pod. It wouldn't surprise me that FC Dallas has some sort of scouting network set up in Haiti because Sanche came to New Mexico United just a couple of months ago. And yeah, it's very much plausible that they signed him based off of what they've seen just in 2022, but I doubt it, considering that Hope and Pico Pesante were also both North Texas SC signings. I think it's interesting to do it with 4 games left in the season. That to me tells me that it's just let's make sure that he is what we think he is, because uh, yes, you could be doing it for the playoffs, but we all know that North Texas is mainly player development. So to do this, it probably is. Well, we like this player. We have lost a lot of defensive mids in the pipeline with players like Corcoran being gone, and the next one would be Orzua, and he might not be considered to be uh, to be professionally ready for this kind of setting, and maybe even just to give him a little bit of tutoring. Uh, so this is, I think it's an interesting signing. We haven't really made a lot of USLC signings in the past, and this year we did both Pope and now Sanchez. So it's good to see that the club has a pretty decent sized scouting network. It'll be interesting to see how he develops because you know defensive mid is a position of need in the first team. Not saying that he would
Agreed.
definitely be helping by next year, but when you're looking to maybe offset Faku in the coming future, and with Edwin being an up and down kind of player, and with the fact that we don't have a lot of players in the pipeline, he's definitely assigning thinking like that in the future. Maybe he can help us.
And I have to agree with that. It's a good point that it's not just the attacking players or the goalkeepers where we need to bring in talent that could potentially uh, be developed in North Texas. And a great point about the USL signings, because it is I don't know if we've actually talked about it here or not, but it was really hard for MLS teams to sign players from the USL Championship or USL League One. Uh, you hardly saw that movement. You have hardly seen that movement. But now that you have the MLS Next Pro League, and you have your reserve teams there, it makes it easier now. You're seeing way more movement now, not just with us, but across the league, where you're seeing players from the championship and USL League One getting signed to these reserve teams. That's something that's going to help uh, MLS as a whole in the future, because there was you can look up articles on it where they're saying it was really bad business for MLS to it was really hard for them to be able to sign players from USL League One or the championship. It was almost not worth it through all the hoops they had to go through. And now you're starting to see where MLS Next Pro is going to pay off for the league, and especially for FC Dallas, because now, like you said, they can say, why not? Let's give this USL player a shot.
Yeah, worth noting, it's an option to buy.
Excellent.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And the other news out of North Texas that's not been official yet is that Jose Mulatto, one of these heralded attacking players that has looked pretty good for North Texas, has grown a lot, a raw talent, I think is what we said at the beginning of the season, and has certainly sparkled at times. That Bayern has a lot of interest, that he came to FC Dallas with some kind of arrangement through Bayern. And FC Dallas, the rumor is, according to Third Degree, that FC Dallas is going to purchase him, sign a long-term contract, but Bayern will still have an option to purchase him, some kind of a first right of refusal kind of a deal to purchase his contract. So really exciting to see that maybe this guy is going to be that number 2, number 3 striker next season. And of course, there's a lot of scenarios that could play out depending on the World Cup and stuff, but it does show that FC Dallas thinks highly of this kid. He may still even get some more time with North Texas next season. We just don't know. But what are your thoughts on that rumor, Jose? I know you've had a lot to say about that.
I'm excited about that. I've heard the rumor came actually from, I'm not sure the guy's name is Felipe, I believe.
Right,
posted it.
That's right. Thank you.
And basically saying that, hey, heads up, a deal was struck between FCD and Cali, the team that actually he belongs to, that FC Dallas is going to be buying a percentage of him, a majority stake, I would say, in him. So supposedly he will be joining FCD next year. So he'll be with North Texas this season. Then he'll join FCD next year and supposedly sign a long-term contract with them, with Bayern basically retaining first right of refusal, or first options on him. So if anybody shows up and says, we want to buy Mulatto, Bayern can match any offer that goes to him. So very much like that partnership that we keep, talking about. FC Dallas and Bayern have this partnership. Mulatto is that partnership, basically showing up and saying, yep, it's still going and it could still work for both teams. And I love it. I've been excited from day one when Mulatto was announced as a player coming to North Texas. He is a true number 9. He's a player that has the hold up, has can get on headers. This is a guy that basically just needs 1 or 2 attempts and can put through. He's a guy that you definitely want to develop as a future backup for Jesus. I'm excited that they've done it. I'm hoping that they make it it's FC Dallas. They're not going to announce it. If he's not joining FCD till next season, they're going to announce it sometime in the winter. They're not going to make it official until then. But it's exciting. Now they just got to bring in Kamango and Hope, and I'll be very happy.
Yeah, I think with Mulatto, you're definitely thinking about 2023 because Hara's gone. Jesus will be at the World Cup, showing his stuff. Already right now at a 14-goal season. More than likely, he will not be here. Now, I don't think Mulatto is being signed to start next year unless he really, really dazzles in preseason.
Sure.
But if, like with Hara not being a hindrance on salary cap decisions, Mulatto is a very useful tool. And I think as the team develops and starts to get rid of a lot of these contracts, you'll definitely probably see Kamungo also get signed next year. I think he definitely deserves it. I think Hope definitely has a shot, and I think he also deserves it. It's really exciting to see that this is really the first signing that FC Dallas has done on a player that isn't from here and from North Texas, though. Like, you had Nicky and you had Pepe and you had Che. And Nicky and Pepe are both homegrowns. Pepe and Che are both homegrowns, and Nicky is a local player. that FC Dallas had been scouting for a while at Texans and at SMU. This is a player that they brought as a raw player and to see if they can develop him, and they did, and now they're going to bring him in. That's really encouraging to see. It's something that has taken, I think, 4 years too long. I think that's one of the aspects of North Texas that I think needed to be improved, to develop players from outside the region and make them into possible major league players, and they are finally starting to do that. Hopefully Milano's not the only one, and yeah, hopefully he stays for more than a year, because I don't know, I'm getting kind of tired of losing strikers year after year.
And I just want to quickly correct Ismael and point out that Colin Smith and Benny Redzik also got signed through North Texas through their performances in North Texas. Academy, yes, Academy players. But like Ishmael is saying, we have had North Texas bring in a lot of loans, a lot of players from South America or from Europe or Africa, and they come and they go and they never get signed. They look competent, but they don't look MLS level. And now you're seeing them bring in players that look like they have a future. Kamungo, Hope, Mulatto, these are players that you can see the raw talent. They're not going to help FC Dallas this year. They're probably not going to help them next year. But you can see that there's something there to build on, and that's exciting. That's what North Texas is supposed to be about.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, look, let's leave it there. We've had a good show. It's been nice to be positive. Well, we had some weeks in there, which is what happens with this FC Dallas season, where we're grim. We're unhappy. We don't know what to say about this team, but hey, a good victory, calms a lot of nerves. It's going to be a big week of soccer this week. I think two more matches, another 2-match week. Is that right? Who do they play on this weekend?
We play on Sunday against Nashville in Nashville.
Oh, good. A big week. And Nashville, good team, but there are definitely points to be had there. Even if it's just a draw. Team. Yeah.
Although I would rather get the points this Wednesday and not be relying on a winning. Well, yes, but I'm just saying, if I would rather they get the win, I'd feel better. I feel more relaxed going to Nashville is what I'm trying to say. Get the 3 points, and then I can go into the weekend relax and saying, all right, let's get something out of this.
Yeah. Well, it's a good week.
I want to be able to see the team get the 48 points sooner rather than later, and then we can stop worrying about making the playoffs and start talking about playoff positioning. Okay. That's the sweet spot that I'm looking for.
Right. Yeah, hopefully Austin stops being so lucky in the games that they play, and then maybe second place.
I'm not concerned about Austin. Let's get in the playoffs. Let's be the team that knocks Austin out. I would settle for that. Give us a shot at Austin in the playoffs. And that's all I want.
Mm-hmm. That would be nice.
That would be great. That's something you can't, talk your way out of. So I would love that. I would love to see, let's get in the playoffs, and then I don't care how lucky, I don't care what's going on with Austin. I'm worried about FC Dallas. Let's lock up a playoff spot. Let's work about positioning, and then maybe like I said, maybe we can be the team that sends Austin packing. That would be sweet.
That would be great. All right. Well, let's leave it there. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Thanks for the comments and questions, Ben, Kuv, Diggs, and Javier. And, hey, we got a lot of great soccer to enjoy this week. We will see you there. And, of course, remember you can subscribe to this podcast wherever you find podcasts. We'll have the audio version going up in just a few minutes here. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks.
Good night, guys.
Good night.